The princes and bishops of Germany had finally elected a new emperor. In 1273, Rudolf of Habsburg was crowned Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire in the magnificent Cathedral of Aachen. It was a surprising choice that nobody had expected. Rudolf was known to be poor and insignificant, albeit cunning. But Rudolf promised that he would restore peace and order in the empire. Ottokar was not so pleased. When he heard of this surprise, he fell into the rage when he had to hear that of all possible men, this fool Rudolf had been chosen. Ottokar had been warned. His divorce, his far too great power, and his unmatched pride had been a thorn in the side of smaller princes in the empire. That is why they preferred Rudolf as emperor instead of Ottokar. Rudolf asked Ottokar to cede all conquests to the emperor and swear allegiance to him. But Ottokar was not ready to give up so quickly. If necessary, he had to get the imperial crown by force. He gathered his troops in the fortified city of Vienna, where he was waiting for Rudolf's attack. The soldiers knew that they had to defend the city at all costs, but the danger lurked within the walls as well. Because of the siege, it became more and more likely that a fire would break out and lay Vienna in ruins.
Здравствуй. Вашим услугам. Правильно. Собирайте. Приказания.
The soldiers needed all available supplies to defend the city. Still, a few unloyal citizens had kept supplies hidden in their homes from the defenders. Ottokar decided to search all suspicious houses in the city for possible supplies. Ottokar had underestimated Rudolf. The new emperor had assembled an impressive number of allies in no time and was now beginning his attack.
Так, понятно. Сделаю. Да, нет. Понятно. Сделаю. Бой! Атака! Оружие! Атака! Бой! Оружию! Приказания! Вашему слугам! Приказания! Вашему слугам! Да! В бой! Да, господин!
A terrible fire had broken out in the city. The city's defenders had to quickly build a system to contain the fire.
Да. Зыждительница. Приказание.
А, сделай. Ремонтник.
Да.
Ас готов. Зешник.
Приказание. Ас готово.
Зешник.
Здраво, ремонтница. Зыждительница.
Здрав, да? Тотчас сделаю. Приказания. Да. Здрав.
Да. Рудаков.
Да, ас делаю. Ас готов. Забирай.
Ас готово.
Приказания.
Да. Правильно. Лесоруб.
Да, господин. Понятно? Да, понятно. Сделаю.
Приказание.
Да, понятно.
Да, да.
A terrible fire had broken out in the city. The city's defenders had to quickly build a system to contain the fire. The defenders were relieved when they heard news that reinforcements from Bohemia were underway. The mighty Zavis of Falkenstein were to lead many Bohemian knights to Vienna.
Ваша услуга за меня.
Понятно. Твоим господством тотчас сделаю.
Приказания делаю. Зештите. Зештите. Ас готов. Здравствуй. Лесоруб.
Да. Ваша услуга. Оружие.
Приказание.
Приказания.
Здрав будь.
Зештите. Ремонтник. Правильно. Тотчас делаю. Ас готов.
А сделаю. Зыждительница. Да.
Да. Тотчас сделаю. Зештите, рудокоп.
Да.
Приказания тотчас вас собираюсь.
Здравствуй. Приказания.
Правильно. Лесоруб.
A terrible fire had broken out in the city. The city's defenders had to quickly build a system to contain the fire. To Ottokar's despair, the Teutonic Knights swore their allegiance to Rudolf of Habsburg. Their services were no longer available to him. Ottokar heard terrible news. Zabas of Falkenstein secretly allied himself with his enemies and betrayed him. He would lead his knights against the walls of Vienna. To make things worse, Ottokar also heard rumors that Zabas seduced his own wife Hilgunda. A terrible fire had broken out in the city. The city's defenders had to quickly build a system to contain the fire.
Вашим услугам.
terrible fire had broken out in the city. The city's defenders had to quickly build a system to contain the fire.
Приказание.
Готов.
Да.
Здесь.
Да, господин. Понятно.
citizens of Vienna donated their last supplies to Ottokar to defend their city.
Да, господин.
Во имя Господне.
Вашим услугам.
Граф. Аж делаю. Правый час сделаю. Здешний судокоп.
К вашим услугам. Понятно. Тотчас. Понятно.
Да.
Во имя Господне.
Да, сделаю.
That day, new banners were visible on the horizon. Rudolf had now mobilized all of his forces to completely destroy Ottokar in a last major attack. A terrible fire had broken out in the city. The city's defenders had to quickly build a system to contain the fire.
Приказания.
Ас готова. Здравствуй.
His close friends may have betrayed him, but Ottokar was not yet defeated. Ottokar and Rudolf agreed on an armistice. Ottokar had heard that further unrest had broken out in Bohemia and could not fight two battles at the same time. As a condition of the armistice, Rudolf demanded that Ottokar kneel before him and recognize him as emperor. Ottokar agreed with gritted teeth. Ottokar stepped before Rudolf in his most gorgeous robe, but the emperor only wore poor peasant clothes to further humiliate him. When Ottokar found out that his wife Kunigunda had an affair with the revolt leader Zavis of Falkenstein, He confronted her with the rumors. She just laughed and said that she only accepted Ottokar as a man if he stopped kneeling in front of his enemies and instead fought for what was due to him.